Jamming with History, a Sandersides fan fiction, written and read by Love Living My Dreams. Presenting. Woman woke with a start, registering a sound and the rapid shifting of weight on the bed. But he wasn't awake enough to really place any of that information. He blinked the bits of sleep out of his eyes and looked around, finding Virgil at the far end of the bed, staring at him wide-eyed and beet-red. After locking eyes for a long moment, Roman glanced at the clock. 7:30 a.m.? Are you always up this early? He complained through a yawn. It was weekend. He would have liked at least another hour of sleep. I, I, sorry. I didn't mean to fall asleep on you, Virgil muttered, not looking at him. If I had an issue with that, I would have woken you up last night, Roman pointed out as he stretched. Or did you feel uncomfortable? He asked, and his brain was finally starting to function properly. Virgil shook his head. No, I'm fine, he said softly. Roman took a moment to study him. He seemed to be telling the truth. He didn't see any tells that led him to believe Virgil was upset at how they'd spent the night. Well, good. Then let's get dressed and get some breakfast. I'll show you to the bedroom. You can freshen up first, he offered as he got out of the bed. I'm gonna pick up something to wear and check in on the gossip chat, he mused as he started walking towards the door to his bedroom. It was clean, and it felt silly to send Virgil to the guest bathroom. Yeah, sounds good, Virgil agreed a little sheepishly. Roman led him inside the bathroom and headed to his closet to choose something to wear today. He selected his Beauty and the Beast musical t-shirt and a pair of jeans. He wasn't planning to go anywhere today. Might be nice to show Virgil that he could be casual too. As he waited for Virgil to finish his shower, he checked his phone. Their now collective friend groups had started a chat. Actually, two that he knew of. One just messages amongst the group. One to share gossip about what they called Theater Boy. I read it so you don't have to kind of arrangement. Pictures of pictures and quick summaries of the articles. He had ignored it yesterday, but now he saw that it had been active. From a cursory glance, he could see that the victory of Virgil's team had been extensively photographed. A crowd of excited family members taking pictures was the perfect place to hide the paparazzi, of course. The focus of the picture was, of course, Virgil and Roman, accompanied by Roman's parents and then Virgil's family. A few articles apparently covered the Sanders uncles and the influence they had in the community. Some more speculation on their dating status. At least they hadn't drawn too much attention to Virgil's past struggles this time around. Someone claimed to have had an interview with Virgil directly. If that was so, then Virgil hadn't mentioned it. He'd have to ask about it later. Bedroom's free, Virgil announced as he stepped out in an MCR's t-shirt and loose-fitting jeans. Anything interesting? Virgil wondered. Not much triggering or surprising, Roman answered as he tossed his phone on the bed and headed inside. After a welcome shower, he went back to the bedroom and found Virgil looking at his phone. Did you give that interview? Roman asked curiously as he went to sit next to him. Virgil looked up. Oh, kinda. I was letting off steam at the skate park. Just taking some ramps at the bowl and letting my mind go a bit. Nothing challenging. Just some jumps and grinds I could do with my eyes closed. Some dude with a camera and a little recorder thing approached me and asked me dumb questions. I answered because I wanted him to leave. Virgil shrugged. He wanted to know stuff they always ask survivors. Things everyone at school has been wondering but have been too afraid to ask. I made some skate-related metaphors. I think he really liked my answers. Kinda ticked me off. Dude even asked for a picture of me making a flip or something. Tried to use lingo and everything as if that would get me to perform for him. He huffed. Yeah, that sounds pretty annoying, Roman agreed. It didn't look like Virgil wanted to talk about it any more than that right now. And if he did, he would do so on his own time. Let's head to breakfast and review our notes before we start practicing the presentation. With some luck, we'll be finished by lunch, he suggested as he took set notes from his desk. Virgil's appreciative smile told Roman that he'd made the right call. When they got to the dining room, Marcia, Hugo, and Danny were busy setting up a big breakfast. Bacon and eggs, waffles, pancakes, a fruit salad, just a whole selection of breakfast foods. Whoa, who else is coming? Virgil wondered. No one, but we will be joining your boys for breakfast, if that's all right with you. Danny smiled kindly. My parents won't be joining us, Roman concluded. Hugo, their gardener, shook his head. They had breakfast an hour ago and chose to let your boys sleep in. They were called away shortly after, he explained. Oh, that was too bad. Without really thinking about it, Roman pulled back a chair for Virgil, who muttered a soft thank you with burning cheeks. Roman pretended not to notice. Is it all right if we review our notes a bit? I don't want to be rude, Virgil asked carefully. Of course, we are actually quite curious what you boys have been working on the past month and a half. Marcia smiled. Virgil smiled back. Thanks. We could probably do with practicing in front of an audience later, he nodded. Roman nodded excitedly. We got a bit competitive on the individual parts of our assignments, and we made such a good team on the collective bits. We finished the research and preparation stages a lot sooner than we anticipated, he informed his staff, proudly, as he finished loading up his plate with his favorites. Virgil, you going to eat, or did you want to sneak some bites from my plate? He teased when he noticed Virgil was just sitting there nervously playing with his hands in his lap. The future prom king flushed adorably and focused on loading his own plate while Roman laid down his notes. Very soon, the duo got lost in their breakfast and homework. Pointing out potential wordplay, something they had noticed their teacher had a secret appreciation for, and scrapping some jokes where it seemed like the flow of the presentation might be hindered by them. Yeah, I think this'll get us an A+, so long as we practice enough, Virgil concluded before finishing off his omelette. Once he swallowed, he looked up to the adults that had been smirking at them the entire meal. Thank you so much, both for the food and for letting us finish this up, he bid. No problem, dear, Marcia assured him as she got up and started cleaning the table, a stern glance telling the boys they better not think of assisting. Indeed, Roman's education is most important. Allowing him to spend some extra leisure time with a friend who clearly means so much to him is equally important, though. Danny nodded as he and Hugo got up too and cleared out the table in a way that showed that they were used to doing this together. Is there other homework stuff you wanted to work on today? Roman asked. He'd finished everything Friday night because he wanted to maximize his time with Virgil. He wasn't sure if Virgil had done the same. The swimming captain rubbed the back of his neck nervously. Well, I kind of finished everything Friday so I wouldn't stress out over the competition, he admitted. Well, then let's get set up in the entertainment room and we can run through our presentation, the thespian fashion air announced. Virgil nodded and followed Roman out of the dining room. Just when Roman finished running the PowerPoint through a trial run to make sure everything did what it was meant to do when it was supposed to do it, the doorbell chimed. The boys looked up in surprise. Expecting someone? Virgil wondered. Roman shook his head, eyeing the doorway curiously. He could hear Danny move the gate to the gate buzzer, chuckle, and then he heard the zoom indicating the gate was opened. Master Roman, there is a guest here to see you, he announced. Roman headed to the door, followed by an equally curious crush. When he opened the door, his eyes widened in excitement and surprise. Cool, Virgil breathed as he saw a black Ferrari Enzo skid to a stop in front of the door. Whoever that is, I like them, he whispered. The door opened and out stepped a tall Hispanic male, dressed in a tight-fitting jeans, a white shirt and a leather jacket slung over his shoulders, fashionable shades resting on his nose, and an easy grin on his lips. "Where's my favorite nephew?" he called out, spreading his hands expectantly. Roman rushed forward and embraced the man. "Hey there, birthday boy," he grinned. "I thought you and Tia Veronica wouldn't come by to celebrate until next week," Roman told his uncle as he stepped back and looked at his uncle. "Well, Vera's still popping in next week. She's at some conference kicking ass. But I wanted to come by now. My godson is all over the nasty papers. I gotta show my face," he pointed out. His tone still easygoing and playful, but Roman knew he was genuinely worried. Behind him a throat cleared. Roman looked up and saw Virgil looking at them expectantly. "Oh, Virgil, this is my uncle Felipe. He is also my godfather. Theo, this is Virgil, my best friend," he explained, gesturing between the two. Theo Felipe pulled down his glasses and studied the now nervous Virgil. "So you are the boy everyone is so up in arms about, huh?" he asked. Virgil shrugged sheepishly. "I guess," he stated. Theo Felipe looked him up and down again, and then smiled. "Well, welcome to our drama. You boys head inside. I got something to give my godson, and I got a big day planned for us," he announced excitedly. Ron bit his lip, but guided Virgil back inside. "Well?" Virgil asked, sensing Roman's discomfort. Theo Filippo can get ahead of himself sometimes. Depending on what he has planned, I'll have to disappoint him. He always wants to make the most of his visits, which I love, but he loves surprises, and he rarely runs things by my parents." Roman let out a deep sigh. "I love him, but—" Virgil snorted. "Uncle Remus can be like that sometimes. Only he can occasionally forget details like allergies. He tried to give Thomas a cat for his 16th birthday, completely forgetting that Thomas can be around them." Roman chuckled. "Okay, that's maybe a step above my Theo," he admitted as he entered the entertainment room. "Maybe seeing the PowerPoint setup might hint at us having plans," he whispered. "Maybe he's cool with letting us do a run-through. It should only be 10-minute stops anyway, right?" Virgil pointed out. Roman nodded. "Yeah, you're right," he confirmed. "I don't know why I'm stressed out all of a sudden," he sighed. He did, though. This was the first time he and his godfather would be out and about after he came of age. "Family," Virgil shrugged. Roman laughed and nodded. "Amen," he agreed. "Hallelujah," came from the doorway. The two teens looked up and saw Felipe Fernandez enter the room with a package under his arm. "Happy birthday, Roman," the suave entrepreneur smirked as he handed it over to his nephew. Roman carefully opened the package and his eyes widened. "Is this—" "It's part of your gift, but I thought you'd like it," his uncle shrugged. Roman felt Virgil lean in, curious what they were talking about. "It's a building with people in front of it?" Virgil wondered. "It's a goodwill organization. Theo Filippo set up a charity in my name," Roman breathed. "An arts program for at-risk youth. The idea is to give them a safe place for self-expression and get them connected with other resources they might need," Theo explained. Roman put down the framed picture of the volunteers and kids that were being helped by his uncle's new project and went to hug him. "Thanks, I love it," he muttered. "And I'd love to spend the day with you. Is it all right that we run through something for school first?" he asked. Theo Filippo chuckled and sat himself on the couch. "Let's see it," he grinned. "We are quite curious as well," Danny announced from the doorway. He, Marcia, and Hugo came in, carrying a tray with tea and biscuits. "All right, settle in, and let us regale you with the tale of the ancient myths of Greece," Roman announced as he pulled Virgil to stand beside him and started their presentation. Their audience was lovely, laughing at their jokes and even asking some good questions when they finished up. When they took their final bow, their audience applauded. Theo Felipe jumping to his feet and cheering loudly, making the boys laugh and feel pretty good about their presentation. Wonderful, wonderful job, boys. Roman, you are going to do the Fernandez name proud. An excellent choice in partners, a wonderful presentation. Well done, boy, his extravagant uncle declared. Virgil smiled a little bashful. Well, the teacher chose the partners. Roman and I went. Man, a month ago we never talked outside of our DMs. Virgil noted. DMs? Theo Felipe wondered. Roman and I met online way before we went to the same school, the skater explained. Roman's uncle quirked a brow with interest. That is a fun story to tell the grandkids, he noted. Theo! Roman scolded, flustered, making his uncle chuckle. Anyway, Roman sighed, before we go anywhere, can Virgil come along? His parents aren't expecting him home before the night, he asked. Of course, even if that wasn't the plan, I wouldn't leave your friend here all by himself. That surprised Roman. How did you know that he'd be here? He wondered. Tio Filippo gave him a look that said, Can't you guess? Well, I'd love to say I called ahead, but the gossip blogs were quite excited that you brought your friend home while your parents were gone, he explained. Roman let out a groan. He was going to have to get used to this. Is Virgil allowed to know? Theo Felipe asked. Roman nodded. Sure, because of me everyone knows all about his past. He deserves to hear some of mine from us, he stated. All right, let's sit down for a minute, kids, Felipe said as he took a seat, prompting the staff to take their leave. Virgil and Roman took the love seat, Virgil bumping Roman's shoulder in comfort. Well, it's not too complicated. The Fernandez family made its fortune by good investments. Occasionally, said investments meant starting their own companies. Roman's father was the eldest of three heirs to the Fernandez fortune. You know what he decided to invest in? The talented, beautiful Spitfire who became my sister-in-law. Veronica, Roman's aunt, was the middle child. She studied to become a doctor and is now head of a pharmaceutical company. I followed in our father's footsteps and lived the life of an investor. My first investments got me decent shares in my siblings' companies. I was very young when I spread my wings. Vera's work has only been paying off the past 5 years, but Lucas was making me a lot of money very fast, allowing me to make more investments that turned out well too. My early 20s were spent among the rich and famous and in the party scene. Theo Felipe paused for a moment to bask in the memory of his glory days. Roman had seen pictures, and his uncle really lived the life he'd assume every teenager imagines they would live if they had a ridiculous amount of money to spend. When Roman was born, my brother had the brilliant idea to try and make me take some responsibility by making me his godfather. It worked. I took the honor seriously. I adored the little guy. I was 24 and I knew I wouldn't have kids of my own. Roman was the closest I'd get, and I doted on him and took him to do fun things. One day, Roman was 5. He was showing some interest in movies. So I took him to some sets of a movie project of a director friend of mine, and he might have been allowed to be in the background of a scene. He was so excited. Roman felt a bit flustered at how fond his uncle was of the memory. He glanced to Virgil beside him, who was smiling fondly as well. At least he seemed to think it was cute. On the premiere, I, of course, brought him along. He was a little charmer. Some journalist made a comment about it, and I joked that he got that from me, and something along the lines of, if I didn't know any better, I think he's my kid. Theo Felipe sighed. Ever since, rumor has it that Bowman is mine, and that my older brother is raising him to cover up some scandal. Things got bad until Lucas made it so the press wouldn't harass Roman so long as he was underage. Anyway, that is why the press cares about Roman. I'm in the spotlight because I hang with interesting people a lot, and they think he's my secret love child. Therefore, there is a potential story there. Theo Felipe made a waving gesture as if dismiss the whole idea of that even being possible. That must have been hard for everyone, Virgil stated emphatically. It was. But Roman is a young man now. He can speak for himself, and the press will get bored of not getting anything new from him soon enough. I considered staying away for a while, but your parents insisted that we should not put our lives on hold simply because of those vultures. Your mother's words. I keep forgetting how scary she can be. So, I have a few businesses in town I want to boost, some of which you have given your blessing. Felipe winked as he pulled up the post about the waffle stand and then a picture his parents must have sent him of Sasha and Jamie's portrait of him. But today is all about you and your friend, he announced as he got up and made a big gesture. Let's go, he announced. Hey everyone, thanks for listening again. I hope you're enjoying the story. See you next time. Bye.